All right, DC decides. We've been telling you in less than a week, voters head to the polls in the district's primary election on June 21st. And, you know, while so many of you have listened to the debates, we want to give you some in-depth context.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake in this election for DC mayor. Crime is on the rise. The city and our school children are still trying to recover from the pandemic.
Yeah, and we're asking the tough questions, beginning with Robert White. Here's Delia Gonzalez.
Do you still worship here? We met up with Robert White outside of the historic St. Augustine's Catholic Church at 15th and V Streets Northwest.
I grew up in this church during most difficult times in my life, when I lost my mom, when I was in a near fatal car accident.
The 40-year-old was elected council member at large in 2016. Prior to that, White worked in the Attorney General's office as a community outreach director. White says while the city's landscape has changed, the cranes in construction have failed to build up families who are still facing problems of crime, education, and housing.
These issues are difficult. They are political liabilities, but that means they require a leader who's going to put their neck on the line, who's willing to go down trying.
We have to identify what is not working.
As the current chair of the Committee on Government Operations and Facilities, White's oversight of the Department of General Services has faced criticism. DGS is in charge of public school buildings. The agency promised that HVAC systems were upgraded for the return to in-person learning, but many systems failed or never received those updates.
What do you say to parents and teachers who said, well, that's on your watch? You were there.
We're always asking the Department of General Services, have you prepared for this? What have you done? Tell us what you've done. We go inspect it ourselves. But at the end of the day, the council doesn't run the agencies. What I realize is that we need somebody running our city who's going to hold our agencies accountable.
And as more school-aged children become victims and perpetrators of crime, White's looking to increase after-school and vocational programs for adults, housing, substance abuse services, and jobs.
People deserve the dignity of good-paying jobs, and people with good-paying jobs are not committing a lot of crime.
On police,
we need to be hiring other people to take care of the non-crime related issues so that we can solve cases, patrol, respond to crime.
On gentrification,
who can have the difficult conversations with developers to say, look, we want you to build in the city, but if you're members of our community, you have to be building the housing that we need.
On the unhoused,
you can't do that when you go in with police and bulldozers and dump trucks. You have to have empathy. This is a time in our city's history where we have more money than we have ever had. This is the time where we try new things, where we make sure we're fixing problems.
Delia Gonzalez, WUSA 9.